Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here, and welcome to another Honkai Star Rail video. So we have the CM Bros tier list for Memory Chaos version 1.4, right? The current one with the disassociation, which is expiring very soon, or have already expired by the time this video goes live. And this is the damage breakdown in the tier list based on the Memory Chaos. Again, I have to reiterate, for the next Memory Chaos, things are probably going to change because this one was very good for certain units that were able to go twice, right? So this is the mechanic. And in terms of the breakdown, a couple of things first. We saw already initially here that for the 5 stars in this testing phase, it's going to be 0 plus 1, okay? And then for the 4 stars, it's going to be 6 plus 5. So Eidolon 6 plus 5, Superimposition 5 4-star light cone. So that is what we're looking at. So the signature light cones of the 5-star are usually about 10-ish% better, and E6, for example, QQ is actually really strong in comparison to some of the other units. And this should answer some of the questions that you've had. You know, should I pull for Seele? And the answer is, if you're getting close to a E6 QQ, you probably want to hold off, because looking at the current Memory Chaos, again, this debuff or buff rather for the Memory Chaos really suits units that can go twice or has follow-up in addition to its attack, right? So you can see JingLiu sitting at absolute top is just way too good. And in terms of the support used here, it's Tingyun plus Pela. So that is the team, and those Pela debuffs are really strong for JingLiu. So that's why undoubtedly she is at the very top, just slightly ahead of Imbibitor Lune, which is crazy in this breakdown. And we see Topaz sitting at number 10. Man, these two units came out in the same patch. But of course, hopefully the next Memory Chaos buff will make Topaz climb up the ranking a bit more. In terms of Topaz's support, they've swapped it around because Astral Express player is a bit better for Topaz in terms of, for example, Tingyun plus Pela. So again, with regards to how they run this damage calc, they basically take the Memory Chaos 10 first and second half, and they run their simulations, and they put in respectable gear on the units, so everyone has this wiggle room, so they get equal amounts of optimal stats, and then they put their supports in with similar stats, and they push the simulation into the system, and that allows them to come out with this damage calculation with all the mechanics accounted for. Now again, like I've always said, if you like the unit, you shouldn't care about the tier list or the DPS ranking, because we've already seen Arlan 0 cycle Memory Chaos. Okay, if Arlan can 0 cycle Memory Chaos, anyone can. There's no doubt about it. So if you're someone who's pulling a unit for the unit story, the lore, or you just like the character, just ignore this. It doesn't matter how strong or weak the unit is. Okay, so looking at from a meta point of view, again, Memory Chaos buffs will always change and always should make the banner rate up unit much better. But in the current breakdown, you can see that JingLiu is absolutely destroying, right? She is just way too good. She is just way too good, even stronger than Imbibitor Lune. And this is just absolutely crazy. Now, in comparison to the rest, those are the A and down below, you can see the damage comparison is just it's just bonkers. But look, Arlan, even with Arlan's worst damage performance, can still 0 cycle. So there's no way that you know, you should be upset about your unit not doing great, because if Arlan can do it, your unit can do it. In terms of Topaz, I think it's a bit unfair to put her in terms of the damage rankings and look at her, be like, you know what, she is just you know, not enough in terms of what she brings to the table, because she does offer a bit more. I have to look at her as a support, and if you kind of look at her as a support among the other ones, she does offer a lot to the follow-up team. And I would say that if you account for the additional damage on top of her being a support, then she should be at least an S tier unit. In terms of the current ranking, Bronya is at the very top, just because, you know, with the current JingLiu as well as Imbibitor Lune, these units really do benefit from the extra turn, especially if you got Eidolons on them, right? And then Tingyun, always one of the best 4-star supports, and Asta and Yukong not that far behind. But now we also have a new introduction of a 4-star support unit in Heng. So I think Heng is going to be shaking up the support meta and potentially bring out some really cool strats out. In terms of the debuffers and enablers, we're looking at Silver Wolf still at S+ tier, and then S- tier in Pela. In terms of DPS for Dot, unfortunately, we're still waiting for the limited 5-star that will hopefully push the Dot team to absolutely broken levels of performance. Even with the release of Queen Fen, it's not, in terms of her damage output, it's not miles ahead of Sample. She is good, her mechanics are great, but it's not the 5-star that we are waiting for. Understandable, because they want to sell their banners. And now looking at the support and the sustain side. Now, the solo sustainers, man, with the release of Luocha and Fushan, you basically lock in one for each side, right? Fushan, first half, Luocha second half, or swap that around and you are good to go. They're so strong in terms of solo sustaining. I don't know how a unit that's coming after will be able to replace one of them. Now for those of you that are missing one, potentially we can see Ho do that. Otherwise, I'm actually very interested because Luocha is super SP positive and can heal, and also at E1 has the attack buff as well. Fushan, I mean, her kit is just she's giving out free gears to the rest of the team. Not only is she quantum, she is also offering crit rate as well as crit damage, right? So really strong already, and they can also sustain. So it would be really interesting to see how another unit that can solo sustain will be able to shift the meta, because now just keeping your team alive is no longer enough. You actually need to do the job of 2 people, which is keeping your team alive and also make your team do tons of more damage. So Japard, Bailu, and the Lynx are S- still, and Lynx not bad because Lynx essentially pushed Natasha from an S- into an A, because Lynx just Natasha but better. Okay, so that is currently the support rankings, and let's take a look at the team. So quite interesting in terms of the team breakdown. Now, in terms of theoretical damage output, the absolute highest is actually the JingLiu, Blade, Bronya, and Luocha team. Okay, and this is very interesting to see because I do run that team, and my JingLiu E6, E2 Blade, E2 Bronya, and E1 Luocha, this team on auto plays so well. It just feels way too good. Okay, you full auto and they just do their thing and everything is dying in front of you, everything is melting, and it really is reminiscent of when Imbibitor Lune got released, and Bronya pushing Imbibitor Lune with the right speed tuning, he is just fingering everyone. So no surprise there to see this team at the very top. Of course, after that we've got JingLiu variation with the Bronya and Silverwolf push along with Fushan, and followed by Seele Blade. Now this is a team that for some reason the CM bros really like. They really like pairing Seele with Blade. Personally, I'm not that big of a fan, but apparently it works wonders. And Silverwolf, Fushan, Seele, they're the quantum, and you apply either the win weakness for Blade or quantum if the enemy is already weak to it. Followed by the Imbibitor Looting teams. We still got the Yukong, Bronya variations for Imbibitor Lune, and we also have Blade as the 6th in terms of the team damage output maximum potential ranking. It's quite interesting that Silverwolf is in 5 out of the 6, just because of how much she provides in terms of the weakness, new weakness, plus enemy defense down, and on top of that, if you use the ult to even further the damage of your main carry. So very cool to see how CM values their team potential, but in practice this may not be what it looks like, and we do have some showcase of the Topaz team as well. You can see at the top is the Topaz Asta Jingyuan combination, and followed by the Topaz Asta and Silverwolf. So that's another one. And Himiko does make a surprise appearance here with Himiko, Topaz, Asta, and Fushan. So you're getting follow-up attacks from Himiko, and you're getting the Fire Planetary Rendezvous from Asta. So yeah, we are already seeing some follow-up and fire synergies. Hopefully we'll get another unit that will propel Topaz to its full potential. But until then, I think we can already see the winners between the 2 banners for patch 1.4. V1.4. Now, Topaz does have its use in Clara. If you haven't watched my CN or tier list video on Topaz, check it out. There is some synergy, and the global team really likes the Clara and Topaz combo. But personally, from me, my testing with my friends Topaz, and their testing results, as well as in comparing to my own units, their units, and the CN community's feedback, it's just not that great in terms of in actual practice. So until then, let me know your thoughts. This is again the CN Bros tier list breakdown, and I can't believe I have to say this again because, man, that Topaz video, lots of Topaz mains were not happy. Like I've said, if you are in love with the unit, you like the character design, you like the lore, you like the mechanics behind the unit, all of these should not matter. Build your Topaz, have fun with her, and show off a zero cycle, and find, you know, some way to use her. That should be how the game is played. So you can ignore all these meta information if it doesn't apply to you, and you shouldn't feel forced to justify yourself, right? Because you're playing ultimately a game for yourself. Anyhow, let me know your thoughts, and it's TimaeuSS here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye now.